Hello, everybody. Welcome to this webinar today, talking about finding work experience in occupational safety and health. My name is James Hymers. I'm Director of Health and Safety at Pico Rudd and happy to be taking you through this with Nilesh and Robbie. So who is IOSH? IOSH is the Institute of Occupational Safety and Health. As it says, they're a non-for-profit professional body with global membership, so we do reach all around the globe, making it a great place to kind of get some insights, really. It is our mission to be a leading voice in global occupational health and safety, with a vision now for 2028 to make the workplace a healthier, better and safer environment for all people. We want everyone to enjoy coming to work, really. And we're there to support you in your journey through your careers. Now, you may be looking for a role at the moment, and perhaps you're having some knockbacks, or perhaps you're receiving some feedback that is not the feedback you want. Things like having the right experience, or having the right qualifications, or something more appropriate to the role. We're going to go through some of that today and hopefully help you out. Nilesh is going to join us now to go through some points on experience.
Thank you, James. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dr. Nilesh Sobhani from Moscow, and thanks for attending this webinar today. Basically, when we come to work as a health and safety professional, or come for any our professional career, we are looking at how we set ourselves for the success, how we get success in our professional career. And the recipe for getting success is that we need to set the goals. We need to understand what we plan and we prioritize based on our goals, and we develop the action plan. We focus on our goals, and especially when we come to the work, we feel that the employers, they want to experience people. And why the employers is looking for the experience? Because if the employee is experienced, it means he is ready to hit the ground. He have the capability to perform for the task what is being recruited. He has acquired the practical skills and knowledge for his particular area of work, and he's well versed with the industry with the industry which he's going to work. And if the person is experienced, it means the employer requires less training to be provided to him, or he requires the less supervision to perform the task. And especially it is taken as a added advantage to recruit the experienced people, because if you are experienced, it shows that you are committed to the career what you choose. It shows that you require less trainings, and also you are a reliable person. Now, what type of opportunities you get? You can get the opportunities for the volunteering. You can volunteer for your student unions or student society. You can be part of the sports society where they need a good safety representatives. Some organizations have large organizations have the graduate schemes. You can be part of that, depending on the organization you work. If you are not in a proper health and safety profession, and if you are in another job or in another industry, then you can become like a first aider or a fire warden. You can ask to be trained on the first aid and fire warden trainings, and you can support the organization on that. You can reach out to the small organizations or startups to offer your services, where safety is often neglected or taken as low priority things, or they don't have proper fund for that. You can support such organizations and add the value to them. If you are in another industry, again, you can be working as a shadowing. Shadowing means you go and work along with them. You observe them while they are working, so that you learn what is required for that particular position. And then you can ask the question how they are delivering their roles and responsibilities, their duties. And this has become a learning process for you. You can also volunteer as a safety representative in your current job. You can be part of the safety committees, and where you can give your inputs to improve the health and safety in your organization. Also, you can support to your to your friends or family members in their businesses to establish good OHS standards. And you can be volunteering for the charity objectives, and contribute to the safety duties to charitable organizations. The recipe to succeed is, first of all, you need to prepare your CV. What makes how you are going to sell yourself about your capabilities, about your your potential skills and the knowledge what you know. So make your CV tailor-made to the opportunities available. So if you're going to apply for a particular job, so your CV should be matching with that job. So you should tailor-made your CV. Then you prepare for each application. You plan your approach, and for that, you need to do research on the organization or the hiring manager or the position what you're going to apply, and then look at what is their expectation, and based on that, you create your resume and you prepare yourself for the interviews. Also focus on what experience you have. So if you are staying in the area of your interest or the experience what you have, then you can utilize your transferable skills, which is beneficial for that organization. And you can have additional transferable skills like communications, team working, and leadership, which really aid, especially for career in occupational health and safety. And when you apply for these opportunities, you demonstrate them that how you are going to use these skills for bringing the occupational health and safety standards in the organization. You can approach to the different recruitment agencies, job sites, and even you can start using your, start doing the networking, making connections on the LinkedIn or other professional, websites. And when you make these, connections, you can approach to the people and you can outreach yourself to the different horizon, and then which helps you to succeed in the job hunting. Always, my advice is always apply for the realistic job. So if you are a beginner, so you look for the beginner's job. You don't look for the positions which are looking for the experienced people. So you should match with your your current profile, your current experience and skills, and make sure that you meet the criteria of the job what you are applying. If the job is about environment and you don't have experience in environment, you can you're not right for that. So job is about occupational health. So you look into that, what is realistic, and are you meeting the majority of these criteria, and then you apply for that jobs. And always keep motivated and positive. Sometimes you will have the failure, sometimes you will not be getting selected or shortlisted, but still every interview or every process you go through, it's a learning process for you. So every time you go, you will go through some experience, and which will really improve yourself. So always be positive and motivated. Now, how you search your opportunities? So basically, use the right word keywords, as I told, that look for the right opportunity to your skills. So if you're entry level, so use the different keywords for your job searching. So if you're entry level, use for the entry level. If you're a graduate, use keywords like graduate. If you're looking for a training in organization, so use a training. So certain websites, they provide you the filters. So you use that filters for the experience requirements. So suppose you are specialized particularly in the construction industry or in a food industry or whatever. So you can apply these filters so that you get more relevant jobs. And especially when you're talking about the health and safety jobs, so use the terms like safety, health, risk, well-being, environment, HSE, different nomenclature. Somewhere it is OSH, occupational safety and health. Somewhere HSE and quality. Somewhere SHEQ, safety, health, environment and quality. So somewhere HSSE, safety, health, safety, sustainability and environment. So use the right keywords to search for the job. And for these opportunities, identify your goals. So based on the goals, you move forward and make the most of your work experience. So prepare effectively about what are the questions going to be asked in the interview. So look for that questions in advance. Prepare yourself, do your homework so that you hit the ground. When you are in the process of interview, make sure that you know about what are the systems or software requirements or the specific requirement for the position. Talk to your supervisors, talk to your mentors, and learn from their experience, learn from their the hurdles or what experience they have. So ask the questions to them. Get involved with these such people, those who so that show your enthusiasm to work with them. Show your interest for the particular job what you're looking, and that will be if you show your interest, if you show your enthusiasm, it will make a positive impression on them that yeah, he's eager, he's learning, he's right for the job. If you don't know anything, ask for the help, ask the question so that if you ask, you will know more. But if you just get away and afraid from asking, then you will not be able to fill the gaps what you have. So always show your willingness to learn, because learning is a lifelong process. And whenever you open up, for the new experiences during these placements, always new things will come. You will need to learn about them. So always be in a learning approach. Always maintain a reflective diary. What you do, establish the documentation, establish the evidences of what you perform. So that will really help to reflect on yourself, that how much you learn, what is your gaps, what more you need to learn or acquire as an experience. And this will improve you as a professional, and slowly you will get accustomed with the job requirement, the challenges, and you'll be good enough to handle that. So this is what my advice is. Ensure that you set the goals, you plan for the things, start working action plan on your job requirement. Look into the different opportunities which suiting to you, and based on that you can succeed in your career. Thank you.
Nilesh, thank you for that. That was fantastic. Some really great points in there. I just made a few notes here myself, but yeah, those keywords I think are really good, because it's a really diverse industry that we work in, and you could be working, oil and gas, food, as mentioned, manufacturing, could be anywhere. So the keywords do really help. But be positive as well. Doesn't matter how many times you get that feedback. Go to your next interview with a smile on your face, because that could be the one you're going to get. And the reflection is really good and important. Once you've been in that interview, go away, have a think to yourself, how did that go? What could you have done better? Maybe you can incorporate it into the next one. But we've got Robbie up next, and Robbie is going to share some, his journey really, and some insights from the Future Leaders community. Robbie, over to you.
Thanks very much, James, and thanks, Nilesh. I think, yeah, I just want to reiterate what James and Nilesh both said there. I think positivity is such a key attribute to have within this industry. It's rewarding, it's challenging, but at the end of the day, if you're positive and you can come through with these things, the profession that you can go on and the career that you can have is really something special. So I just want to say there, quickly next to the picture there, the road to success is not always linear. It takes hard work, dedication, learning opportunities, which in brackets is failures, to reap the rewards. So my journey is a squiggly journey. It's not linear, and it certainly has, been a rough road at times. So I suppose that's why I've been asked to come and speak to you today. So I suppose that we all like to think that the road to glory as such is the diagram at the top, one with very few hitches, very few squiggles, and very few, in inverted commas, failures. It really isn't the case. And one thing that I can promise is that I haven't got to where I am today without those key elements that I spoke of just a minute ago. So I was 16, not great results in my GCSEs or equivalent to international members, without a vision. I didn't really have a reality as such. So I was a labourer on a construction site. I thought, well, let's do that. Something that I was quite keen on. I was quite physically active. But after that, I went back into the education world. So I went to college, I studied sport, and then I went through to university to study inclusive education. And actually from there, I became a qualified primary school teacher. Gave me some incredible insights into resilience, administrative duties, and coaching. So as you can see from the flags over on your screen, I travelled Malta, Kuwait, Kyrgyzstan, and Russia as a teacher before deciding that I wanted to come back home and be with my family. So I fell out of love with the teaching profession at this point, and I started to hop between jobs and industries. So in 2018, I fell, and I'm going to say that word, fell back into the construction industry. I never intended to go back there, but I lost my job and I needed something. I fell back into the industry. But something had changed in me. I found a fire in my belly. Too many times, I found that there was conflicting views regarding health and safety professionals. They don't understand, they don't listen. These were some of the things that I was hearing out on site with some of the individuals who I worked with and alongside. So in 2020, when I decided to take that leap and I self-funded my IOSH National General Certificate, I was hoping that I could kind of understand the expectations and create my own legacy within health and safety. So later that year, I stepped into a role, health, safety and environmental advisor for the company in thermal insulation industry. So I decided to move on from there quite quickly, but I did learn a few lessons from that. But I find myself here now as we speak in a geotechnical and geoenvironmental organisation. Back then, a year ago, I celebrated my 1-year anniversary this week. I was green, I was fresh, and I didn't really know enough about the industry or didn't know enough about the processes that I needed to go through. So since then, I suppose I've worked tirelessly on my knowledge and have continuously improved, pressing my passion on some of the key figures and decision makers within the industry on mental health, well-being, neurodiversity, and others. So I'm 1 exam away from finishing my IOSH National Diploma. I'm 2 exams away from finishing my IEMA Environmental Management qualification. And also I attend a lot of these webinars, not just as a speaker or a panelist. Actually, I attend as a learner because actually we're lifelong learners, and that's something that really in a progressive industry and within construction, not just construction, everything else, health and safety, it's a continuously changing environment. We need to make sure that we're staying up to date with this. So again, like I say, I celebrated my 1-year anniversary this week. So I now feel that I have the knowledge and the skills from going to things like this and from attending training sessions and from, background reading, research to overcome many barriers. I'm not perfect, and I don't think there is such a thing as a perfect OSH professional. I think that the industry is challenging, it's rewarding, but one of the most important things, as stated, is ever changing. So I want to remind you all, just as I finished that journey with you now, I want to remind you that at the beginning, I was visionless, I was confused, I was out of touch with reality, but then I brought it back today with these skills and attributes to you from hard work and dedication. The most important thing that I learned from my journey is that you are at your steering wheel. You are at the steering wheel of your journey, and only you can make that change and that fire and that find that within you to make your career what you want it to be. Okay, so moving on to the next slide then. So we're looking at celebrating out your successes. What does this journey mean? I've been on all these different journeys, small journeys. It's created this big journey now. But what does it mean? Because actually, isn't this all about irrelevant experience and irrelevant skills that I've learned from these experiences? Well, actually, it's not, because you need to celebrate your successes and use these experiences. So I've made some little tally ups here. So we've got the teaching experience that I had. So then you look at some of the things that I learned from this. So the storytelling. OSH is a big storytelling exercise. To make people go on this journey with you, you need to tell them the story. You need to give them context, reality. So I learned to do that. Educating experience. It is about education. Unfortunately, some people don't see the value in OSH. But actually, if you educate them in understanding the reasons behind it and understanding why we do what we do, these are really good things that will prop you up and make you stand above the rest. Coaching experience. So I've got lots of experience in sports coaching, but I was a mentor, I was a leader. I had this methodical approach that I wanted people to follow in these structured exercises. These are all things that I can bring to this OSH career as well. Management experience. So right the way throughout my life, I've been like a leader, a manager. So from the age of 18, I had management experience. And from here, I've got influencing skills, instilling a culture within the environment, within the organization, setting goals, key performance indicators, all of these things that you will bring with you along the way, and you will draw back on all them experiences to date. Construction industry, procedure driven at times, creative, and working on your initiative. A lot of the time you don't have people on you all the time. You will have the pressures, but they will expect you to work on your own initiative, to overcome the problems, have that communication between each other, work as the team to get to the end goal. And just at the bottom there, so my 20 meters swimming badge. And I just want to just show you now what we can do with these. So I gained my 20 meter swimming badge when I was 7 years of age. And I wanted to show you how I would pitch this in a way. So from my 20 meters swimming badge experience, I gained the skills of intrinsic motivation, finding it within myself, battling against myself through challenges, resilience. And also it gave me a competition within myself, self-competition and competition with others, that I wanted to be above that. And I wanted to go above and beyond to be the best. Listen, I want to put a disclaimer out there. I don't want you to put your 20 meter swim badges or equivalent on your CV unless you feel it absolutely necessary. But what I'm trying to get at here is actually what we've got is a key transferable skill set from one experience that you draw from throughout your career as an OSH professional. Okay, so moving on to the next one. So other activities. So these are all things that I've engaged in since starting my career in OSH only 18, 19 months ago. So I've attended conferences. Now, most of these are free. Not many people know this, but if you register for them, they are free. And they're a really, really good event to go to, because what it is everybody, a lot of people in one room, and you can draw from all of these experiences. They're all around the world, guys. Doesn't matter where you are in the world, there will be something going on near you. Okay, so additional training then. So there's a wealth of resource out on the internet. And actually, a lot of these training courses and training exercises are free. So making the most of them and being able to learn from them is really important. So perfect your LinkedIn profile. I heard Nilesh talk about LinkedIn, such a key tool. And I know that this was probably where I started. I've got my LinkedIn up and running. I network with some of the best out there. I mingle and I talk, I network, I engage in discussions with the whole OSH world, really. And also I put my point of view out there as well. Blogs and podcasts, this is something that I'm relatively new to, but I do have my own podcast now, and I do try and write as much as I can, because what that does, it gives you an extra element to your speaking skills, to your writing skills, and it also allows you to get yourself out into the world as well. Okay, so then moving on to the next one, where collaborating with others is a very big theme. This is just a really, really big shout out to the Future Leaders community. These group of people are, they're there to guide you and support you in your career. So they offer webinars, networking events, the LinkedIn group that they've got, which you should join. They've got podcasts. There's so much more that as a member of IOSH you can get involved with. So the group of individuals, the steering group are from a variety of sectors. They've got different careers, different stories to tell. I do encourage you to reach out to them where possible, because who knows, that could be you in the future. It's all about sharing your views, stories, and connecting with like-minded individuals. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, James.
That was absolutely superb. Such an inspirational piece of advice there and experiences. The 20 meter swim badge, I've never heard someone put it in such a compelling way, but it's fantastic.
Thank you.
And I think that whole setting goals thing is really powerful. It's something I've done in my career as well. There's been stepping stones along the way, but if you set that goal and you're focused on where you want to get to, it's really going to pull you through. Not all jobs are the be all and end all. Some of them are stepping stones, but it's about learning what you can within those. And a bit about the future leaders as well is the exciting thing about the OSH profession is you could become a real leader. It's a growing profession. It's an opportunity to influence businesses. This community here really is starting to drive the standards and trends within the occupational health, safety and health profession. So it's really exciting. And thank you for sharing those points. I think you've just demonstrated how exciting it can be. Well, I've got a few slides here now to share with you. So as I said, I'm a director now for health and safety at Pick Everard, and also IOSH council member as well. So I get to work on the inside with the with IOSH and see how things can grow, and that's how I got involved in this today. But I've got a quote on the next slide there. If an opportunity doesn't knock, build a door, and it's absolutely the case. Certainly for myself, getting to know people, getting out there, networking. It could be with your friends, even old university groups, getting down to the IOSH branch events and using LinkedIn, the IOSH groups as well. But there's also subgroups you can find on LinkedIn where you can get involved. You can perhaps put some questions out. You can comment on some things that are being said, and you'll get to know people. You'll get to talk to people. And when people get to know who you are, you will often hear about a job before it becomes available. That's just a reality of how businesses often work. Sometimes we don't know that we need a candidate until we go and speak to them, and it makes us realize that we need this individual. So do get out there, do get talking to people. There's another quote I've got here, which is sometimes you have to make your own luck, and I think that's fair to say. With a statistic from the CEO of LinkedIn that 70% of jobs are never advertised publicly, and I definitely say that's the case. So what networks are available at IOSH? Well, I started with Thames Valley IOSH Group, which is in the UK, and that was really, really important to me in terms of my career development. I was able to get one CPD in every month, which was on a very useful topic, spoken by someone who was an expert. I got to meet 10, 20 people every night, learn from them. But we're all over the UK. There's branches all across the UK. And as I said, you can also tap into those through LinkedIn. You can tap into those through the website. There are often recorded webinars as well now. But they are really good sources of information, and that chance again to get to know people within those branches. As I said, it's a global community. We're able to support people across the world. I've been talking to people from the West African community, and it's really exciting, actually, the branches that we have in other parts of the world and how we can share the knowledge across the world. There's different challenges across the world, and a great opportunity as well to really take this profession to another level in some of these places. We have a mentoring platform as well. And this, again, something I've been part of. It's fantastic. There's some really passionate people in here, actually, who love nothing more than to give back and share some of their learnings with members who are looking to progress their career, or perhaps you just want to bounce some ideas off. Perhaps you've already got a job, but you're looking to take that next step. You can create a profile. You can you put some thought around what it is you want to learn, and you can get a match with someone. And there's, as I said, there's many mentors out there, and you'll get matched with someone who's more aligned to the experiences you want to do. You can try reverse mentoring, which is a new perspective with senior professionals, but absolutely engage with that. Absolutely get involved. You never know what's going to come out of that conversation. Use those. IOSH groups. So I've spoken about branches. Branches are quite general. They're quite broad in terms of what they offer. But there are also specific groups that IOSH supports. We've got a few groups here as examples. So the aviation, there's fire, there's food and drink, there's logistics. But if you're thinking about going into a particular career, then maybe you'd like to get involved with these groups and learn more from these people. There's regular meetings, there's video series, and again, for that networking, you can get to know these people. Maybe they want help as well in organising these events. That could be a volunteering opportunity for you to get stuck in. You don't have to be a professional to support and help. Everyone loves someone who's willing to volunteer, but these video series will really help new professionals in their careers, I'm sure. So some networking tips. Be yourself. That's all I can say. Be yourself. Be positive. Be inquisitive, but be yourself. You don't need to be something you're not. It just makes it harder later on when you've got to try and keep up that charade. So be yourself. Understand what it is you want to achieve in life. Understand what your values are, and be proud of those things and take those forwards. Do you ever think about where you want to go in life, though? Do you ever think about the roles that tick in your boxes? If you do just take any opportunity that comes along, you might find yourself unhappy in that and perhaps not performing to the best of your ability, which could be an opportunity lost there. So do ever think about the ones that really get you going. That said, there's nothing wrong with having started a job, reflecting on where you're going and realizing where your passions lie and moving towards where your passions are. Be positive. I mentioned that before. It came out with Nilesh. It is hard to be in that constant cycle of looking for a role and not finding the right one, or perhaps taking a few rejections. But you've got to stay positive. Your day will come, and when it comes, it will be the right one. There's a little saying in my family here that when it's right, it will happen, and I truly believe in that. Sometimes. Be considerate. You know, we're all busy. Me as a hiring manager, I try to respond to all the emails that I get, and I try to work through things as quick as possible. But I do take a bit of time, unfortunately, trying to get through some of those things, and I have to rely on some other people in my team to make those communications. So try and stick to business hours, try and be considerate in waiting for those responses. But by all means, if you haven't heard of anything within a reasonable time frame, then you're absolutely well within your rights to follow those up, and find ways to connect with perhaps the hiring managers. But do ask for advice. Do seek out people like recruiters. There's a lot of recruiters out there that you could link up with on LinkedIn that would be very happy to support you with developing a CV. As I said, the mentors would be very happy to support you with developing a CV or looking at where your skills and attributes might lie. So do ask for that advice. There's lots of advice available, and there's lots of people that would love to see you all join the profession. Well, I think that takes us through all of our slides there. We're all slightly ahead of schedule, which is quite nice. It means we've got some time for some Q&A. Is it Charlotte to come in now with some questions?
Hi, James, and thanks everyone on the panel for going through your various experiences and reflecting on what you think will work best. What I'll do now is stop sharing so that everyone can see you, and we will go over to a Q&A. So we've had some pre-asked questions as part of the sign up, and one of the first questions that I think probably quite an interesting one given the world we live in now is it common for people to work from home in safety and health? This is from someone who is looking to move into the industry. Who'd like to take that one?
We were just talking about that. Robbie, do you want to kick off with that one?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, like we said, as we move away from the pandemic now, straight after the pandemic, it was very much a remote working kind of environment, with site visits for construction and any kind of site-based activities. As we're moving on, there was a hybrid working approach. You do see that some people do want you back in the office. It is very much organizational based, but we are seeing more and more that people do like people in the office, but at the same time, there's a very, very big benefit to that. So it might be that you think that you're better off working from home. Having that 50-50 could be a beneficial thing to you. So definitely weigh up the pros and cons. It isn't uncommon for IOSH professionals to work from home, as James is doing there. But you know that there is definitely an element of office work that could be coming along with that as well.
Any comments, Nilesh, from your perspective?
As Robbie rightly said, it depends on the industry what you work. If you are in a consultancy and you can do even the remote work, but when it comes for the for the construction side, for the manufacturing industry and this, I strongly believe that more on the face-to-face rather than less time on the remote, because when you do the, look into the HSE aspects, your risk assessments, your compliance, you need to be there, see from the 360-degree perspective, rather than just, from the remote and see from one angle. So again, it's industry specific. As I mentioned, that if it is a construction or manufacturing, you need to be there. But yeah, on some way, hybrid mode also works in, many organizations. So that depends on each organization to organization.
Thanks, guys. We got another one, Charlotte?
We do, yes. So we've had a few questions both before, and we've just had one pop in during, around professional programs or activities that you can do to develop a robust career in OSH. So are there any particular activities or training or things that you have done in your experience that you found have really helped you in your career as an OSH professional?
Nice. Well, I guess we've touched on some of these with the CPD. It was Health and Safety Expo just a few weeks ago down in London. So those are kind of great events. But Nilesh has often spoken about these kind of things. Do you want to share some insights on that?
Yeah, if you want to be a successful occupational health and safety professional, please utilize the IOSH blueprint. It's a fantastic tool. It gives your 360-degree development as a OHS professional. Because when we talk about the OHS profession, it's not about your technical skills or your knowledge on on the risk perceptions and all this. Even you need to be a good good salesman. You need to be a good presenter. You need to have good leadership skills. You need to have good communication skills. So all these transferable skills are very important along with your technical skills. So use the IOSH blueprint. It's a fantastic tool, to develop as a OHS professional on your technical competencies, on your core competencies, and on your for your professional development. Is a CPD is a great tool. IOSH has a lot of resources on the CPD platform. That's really, and there are a lot of resources. I think more than 172 resources available. So make use of that. But life is a learning process, and learning is a lifelong process. Every day the challenges differs. So keep the learning process on. Every failure, it gives you the learning opportunity to learn from the failures. Because when we talk about the prevention, if you don't learn from any incidents or any non-compliances, and if you don't implement that learnings, so it means we are going to do the repeat that incidents or non-compliances again. So keep the learning process on. Focus on the transferable skills, time management, leadership, communication, all these, and of course the core and technical competence.
Anything else to add there, Robbie?
Yeah, I think that one thing I would add is that don't just think that because you get your NEBOSH International or General Certificate or the diploma that's where it ends. I think that a lot of time these big qualifications they take over in our heads, and we think that because we've got them that's the end of the journey. It's definitely not. We're like Nilesh says, we're lifelong learners. We learn from mistakes. These opportunities out there are really important. Joining your local IOSH branches, discussing things on LinkedIn. You cannot underestimate how important this is. So definitely get involved in some of the webinars and some of the training programs out there that aren't as well known, because actually there are some new initiatives that are coming through that are really, really important that maybe these big qualifications don't touch upon. That's definitely something that I would think about.
Yeah, and I think from my perspective, it's about quality of learning. So whatever it is that you choose to do, understand what it is you've learned and how you can apply it to the role that you're looking to do or whatever you want to do. So it's a quality piece of learning. What we don't like to see is people who have got a CV that's just full of courses and qualifications, because how does it relate to the role? What have you actually learned and gained out, and how you're going to apply it? So whatever you do, try and pin it to a goal that you want to achieve, and make sure it's some quality learning. Charlotte.
That's great. Right, we've got a couple of questions. They're quite practical questions around IOSH mentoring, and it slightly comes back to some points you made earlier, James, around people have been approached and sent mentoring requests, and they're finding it difficult to get hold of their mentor. So in practical terms, I guess the question is around what can you do to re-engage a mentor? At what point should you perhaps try someone else? And what other ways are there of connecting with mentors, maybe off the IOSH mentoring platform, and then maybe formally taking it onto the IOSH mentoring platform?
Okay. I think it can be a difficult relationship sometimes, the mentor-mentee, and the learnings I've taken from it is to try and set some clear relationship goals and boundaries. So once you've reached that a boundary or a point, you move on or you do something different or whatever it is, but it doesn't have to last forever. I think that's one of these misconceptions. And I think you're entitled to move on whenever you like. There's no loyalty or love lost between a mentor and a mentee if you feel like you need someone else. I don't know, Rob, if you've had experiences with the IOSH mentorship program.
Yes, I have, and a very, very positive one as well. So I've got an IOSH mentor, and I've still got an IOSH mentor today. Actually, I had a conversation this morning with him, and do you know what? The most important thing is between myself and my mentor is that you keep it professional, and you keep the goals at the forefront of your conversations and your minds. Because at the beginning of my mentoring journey, my mentor and I came up with a SMART continuous improvement plan, and that was for organization and for personal professional development. It's worked wonders. Ever since that I've had a mentor, I've got somebody on the other end of the phone or the other end of an email who is always there to answer my questions, who will always come back to me when there is times of difficulty. This person is obviously a mentor for a reason. They've got really, really key skills that I can lean on, and it's something that I will do in the future. I think in terms of the relationship, you'll know quite early on if things aren't right. And like James said, all good things come to an end. So there is a natural end to every relationship in terms of mentoring. So if you get to a stage where it's strictly there's no benefit either way, or it is just genuinely that you think that there's somebody else out there who could improve you further, ending that relationship on a very positive note is something that is really important, because actually you never know when you might need them again in the future.
Nilesh, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, the IOSH mentoring platform is a great platform, and a lot of members got benefited out of that. But I think the challenge, what in the question comes, that they are not able to get the mentor, or they are facing some problem. So as James was presenting, that be considerate. Don't get frustrated when sometimes if you're not getting response. You can channelize to the other mentors. You can contact the IOSH membership team. They can also help you to choose the right person. Also increase your professional networking through the LinkedIn, like-minded people from your industry, from your area, and try to make contacts with them. And there also you will get a lot of mentors coming into who can help you in the industry, from the industry. Keep your learning process on. So whatever the way, through the networking platforms, through the local IOSH branches or their events, through the IOSH networking platform, through the futures group, you can find the way forward. If you're not getting really response from one platform, you will get from the other platform. But keep your hunger on, keep your search on, and definitely you will get the right mentor. If there is a thrust, if there is if you're passionate about learning, people will be there to support.
Nice one.
I think as well, James, just to point out, it's key to remember that these are volunteers. These people do have their jobs as well. So it's about, again, setting them expectations early in terms of maybe the reply timeline as such, and just making sure that there's not an unreasonable expectation there, because actually, like us all, we all have our jobs. As well as that, these people are giving up their time to further enhance this kind of profession, and you individually as well.
Yeah, and I think if you're looking for something else outside of IOSH, I have seen other platforms which offer mentorship. So there's some girls I was talking to the other day that are looking into women in construction. There's some mentorship programs through that. which is quite specific to that. You might want to look outside of IOSH completely. So it could be through your university, for example. There might be a mentorship. They might be from a completely different industry. Sometimes it's just nice to have someone to bounce some ideas off and just generally discuss. It doesn't need to be specific to a career that you want. It's just that relationship sometimes is really helpful. But I don't know if there's anything else, Charlotte, that we can say in terms of supporting people on that.
No, that's very practical advice that's been given. I think ultimately, like, as you're saying, if you're having any problems with your particular mentor, then it might be worth considering whether or not there's someone else that might be able to mentor you, or perhaps you may want to, as James has said, explore particular industry groups as well to kind of supplement that relationship. Moving on to the next question, and I think this is something that a couple of people asked before the session and people do want to know more about. This person's asked, I'd like to volunteer, but most of the time the opportunity isn't there, or maybe obvious for volunteering. What would be your advice to someone studying in the UK who would like to try volunteering? Has anyone want to jump in first?
Well, I think Nilesh is a serial volunteer, so you better go first.
Go ahead, Nilesh.
If you are really passionate about volunteering, please join the IOSH platform. You have a huge opportunity to to support as a volunteer. I am the IOSH volunteer since 2013, and I benefited a lot. I learned a lot. I gained a lot in terms of professional enrichment, in terms of professional reach, in terms of my personal career development, and global recognition. So volunteering is the platform where you give back to the society about what you get. It's a give and take process. So I urge everybody to do volunteering, whether through your local community, through your local networking, branch events, branch meetings, and IOSH is the best platform. I'm doing volunteering in Oman since not only in Oman, even the Middle East branches. Going for the conferences, seminars as a speaker, you're presenting in the IOSH branch events, even the networking. So contact IOSH team and they'll be really helping, they'll be welcoming you as a volunteer all the time.
Robbie, you got anything else?
Not really as such. I think that I volunteered from a very young age within my community, and I think that just because maybe you don't get selected as a volunteer at a branch or anything like that, just make yourself available. Speak to the people within the branch, just because there's never ever an end to what you can do for them, really. So you look at the Future Leaders Steering Group, applying for that. I didn't get into that, but I'm a community champion now. So there's always options other than the formalized route as well. So yeah, just make yourself available, make sure that it's within your capabilities and you do have the time to do it, and obviously just be reasonable with your expectations then as well for yourself. Yeah,
and you could be a volunteer. You might not get the volunteer role, but you could perhaps go and speak to them and say, kind of write up the minutes for that meeting or something, and they'd be more than happy to have you join in on a kind of informal basis. But I recently supported our local school. They wanted some risk assessments done, so I went and did that. But it doesn't necessarily have to be, within your immediate sphere. You might want to look outside of that and see what else you can do. You can find it all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, James, you rightly said that don't limit yourself, that if you're not getting a particular position in any branch or in for any volunteering job, still you can do volunteering. Contact the right people and show your eagerness, show your potential, that in that way you can support. Even sometimes I go to the schools, I go to the local different committees or communities like women associations and help them, because health and safety is a area where you can volunteer to any place, even safety at home, safety at school, safety at work. It's a huge requirement. So if you are really passionate, there are a lot of platforms available. Only just you have to find the best one for you, nearest to you, and move forward.
Got time for one more, Charlotte? Or
We do, and actually in a controversial turn, I'm going to add my own comments onto that last question, because as someone who's an education professional, I actually started off in a number of volunteering roles that actually involved safety. So my first role in the working world was volunteering in a charity shop in a town in England, and actually I walked into the shop and said, do you need anyone to volunteer? And they said, yes, we need someone for Saturdays. And beyond that, it became sort of things to do with security, things to do with fire and risk. The next role I had was an administrative assistant in a university. And lo and behold, I became a fire warden, and they asked people to step up and be first aiders. So sometimes it can be as simple as just walking into your local shop or business and asking directly, do you have any opportunities? And then from there, adding things onto your opportunity, because quite often you'll find quite quickly what kind of organization does value and doesn't value safety. You can end up making a bit of a project for yourself in an area where they perhaps need that support, like some of the things Nilesh mentioned earlier. So I would say, as a few people have alluded to, don't be afraid to approach and just offer your services to people who may not know that they need them. So we'll just move on to a further question. We've got someone asking how they can improve their writing skills in health, safety and environment. Has anyone got any practical advice on that question?
Oh, there are some good apps and stuff out there now. I don't know if either of you two have got any experiences of those. Maybe Nilesh, have you got some experiences how to improve grammar and writing?
See, for writing, especially for OHS professionals, good writing skills is, one of the, core competence requirement, because whatever you do, you present a report, you write an email, you write a report, you need to have good writing skills, and you write to the mark, to the point, and, in the best interest. But how to improve that writing skills? You can, you can use some mentors available, some senior people in the organizations or in your community. Make what you write, give to them, review with them, refer to them, and this is how. There are also I don't want to publicize that, but there are a lot of artificial intelligence platforms available. You can seek help of them in a positive spirit. And you will really improve, a lot in terms of writing skills. So yeah, there are a lot of platforms available, and the best is find the local mentor and who will really help you on that. Apart from that, some professional, institutes who give the, specific trainings on the, reading, writing skills, presentation skills. So that also you can opt for that.
Robbie?
I think as an ex-teacher, I think you can't underestimate practicing. So do it. Don't be afraid to do it. Don't be afraid to write, and then ask for that feedback from people. I think that's a really good thing. Also, reading other things on the internet, reading around safety material. There's so many resources out there that you can look at. Compare your writing to, and just in general, the more you do something, the better you get at it. And if you're struggling, and it could be, and I'm going to take an inclusive point of view here, there might be something underlying that you're struggling with. So seeking help as well for that, or just look, speaking to individuals who might have experience in it, and making yourself available and making your content available as well is something that I've seen to improve mine no end, really.
Yeah, I think the mentorship probably is a good route on this one. We're consultants, so we write a lot of reports, and we've got people from different nationalities and all sorts within our teams, and we do notice that we have to support some people in different ways. Grammarly is an app that's been used by some people to kind of support with that. But I think just having that conversation that perhaps it's something you want to work on, so that you allow a bit of extra time to have some reports read and reviewed and given that feedback. It's sometimes a little bit awkward having those conversations, but you got to start somewhere. And as Robbie said, the more you read, the more different types of publications that you read, different authors as well, that will help broaden your language and grammar, just through taking that in that way. But yeah, I think probably mentorship is the best way to go for that one if you want to really move that on quickly.
Yeah, the best advice is first you start at your own, because until you don't start, nobody will come and support you. So you should start, whether it is a writing or any type of skills you want to gain. First, you start at your own.
Thanks. Charlotte.
Excellent. I believe we've got time for one more. So the question is, what entry-level positions can one start with when they're looking for roles in occupational safety and health?
Oh. Well, the volunteering one, the experience that you gave, Charlotte, was an excellent demonstration of how you can work your way into the profession. But Robbie, your journey was quite compelling now, probably relevant to this question.
Yeah, definitely. So drawing from your relevant experiences is always good, because what you get from that is, you will see quite quickly, like Charlotte did, that there's opportunities within organisations that maybe you didn't know were there. So speaking to people within your organisation and seeing if there's just extra little responsibilities that you can take to add to your CV, or just to be able to express yourself and show that you can do it. I think, Nilesh pointed to it earlier. I think it's just about knowing what things to look out for. Your graduate jobs, your trainee jobs, your ones relevant to the experiences you've got, to be able to not overdo it, and to be able to start somewhere is very, very important.
Nilesh?
Yeah, assess your potential, assess your where you stand now, and based on that you start. Even if you're not in a non-OHS jobs, as I mentioned, that start with the safety committee, start as a first aider or fire warden, whatever. So whatever it's a junior position, or it is a just a volunteer job, start at some point. Develop your career plan, develop your career goal, that what you want to achieve. Okay, I want to be HSE manager somewhere. So what skills I need? Start developing on that, start working on that, and step by step move forward. So make a long-term plan, and with that again make a short-term goals and develop your action plan, and start accumulating the skills required for that position, or for what you're targeting, and develop your skills.
So I think, not knowing who or what position the individual's in who's asked that question, but there's definitely graduate roles, admin roles, apprenticeship roles available as well to kind of leapfrog you into profession. It may be that within the job you're at the moment, you could volunteer or do some things on the side which demonstrate those safety skills and risk management. But yeah, there's lots of different opportunity. Again, it probably could be something that you could discuss with a mentor, and this could be quite a short relationship you have with a mentor. Very, there's a question there to be asked: what skills do I have, and what skills do I need, and what could I do? They can give you some feedback on those things that you then go away with, and that could be the end of that mentorship relationship. It doesn't have to go on forever, as we said before.
Put yourself out on LinkedIn as well, James, as well. That's one good thing that you could do. I know a couple of times that I've spoken to people on LinkedIn and just posted asking for some experiences, or just asking for some advice. Maybe sometimes it doesn't have to be that formalized mentoring relationship. You just get the kind of the thought process of the whole OSH world, really.
That's it. So if you want to know more, hopefully you've enjoyed today. Hopefully this has been insightful and given you some food for thought. But you can join, sorry, there's a little pop-up there. Check out more IOSH memberships. You can scan this code here. There's the Facebook page, tweets, YouTube, IOSH official LinkedIn page as well, and Instagram, which I'm going to go check out because I haven't checked that one out yet. But yeah, get stuck in, see what you can do with IOSH. We'd love to support you there. The student membership is available. It's a one-time payment there, £15, and there is some student bursary available as well. But again, we've spoken a lot about mentors, we've spoken a lot about how we can support you and people within the profession can support you. There is another series or another episode coming up after this, part 3. It's on the 14th of July at 12:30. Again, scan this code and log into that. But you're going to get more information there in how to build that experience CVs and outline some support that's available there through the IOSH profession. So hopefully you've enjoyed today. Thank you for joining. Speak to everyone else that you know if you thought it was good as well. But come and have a look. We'd like to help you further. Thanks to Nesh and Rob as well for joining me. It's been fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks very much, guys.